Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It's good to see you tonight. I feel like, I don't like using the word trained, but I feel like I've trained y'all that we start at 6. So when I don't start at 6, you're all like, what's going on? So I'm Rabbi Rachel Jackson, in case we haven't met yet. Joined on the Bima again, back from her vacation. Welcome back, Solis Lori. So we got to pump up the energy tonight because she is still on London time, so she really should be asleep right now. So we're going to need all of your energy tonight, too. A couple of quick announcements. There's no Beit Midrash on Sunday. We don't do Beit Midrash on Mother's Day weekend, but I just want to take one small second on that. I don't have a long reading or anything, but one small note. If it is a joyous holiday, I hope that you have a fantastic Mother's Day. If there is some challenge with it, because maybe there was a challenge in the relationship, maybe there's a challenge in yourself and your journey of motherhood, maybe because you miss your mom, maybe because there's so many reasons that Mother's Day can bring up a lot of things for people. And so I hope that you can handle that this weekend too, if that is where you are. And if at any point you just need to chat with me or something, just let me know, because I know that when it's holiday seasons, holidays don't always mean the same thing to every person. So I just want to share that and be aware of that this weekend. On Tuesday night, with lots of organizations around town, like Shalom Orlando, we are hosting a Tel Aviv string trio concert on Tuesday night. On Thursday at noon, we've got Torah study on Zoom, and Thursday evening, in person, we're doing Hebrew. They have had one class, but it's probably like 3 letters, so if you can jump on in, I'm sure you can catch up. So if that is something that still sounded enjoyable to you, I encourage you to sign up for our Hebrew class. And then in future weeks, on Sunday the 18th, we partner with OHEV, where the Jews come together, 2 Jewish organizations come together to make food for Coalition for the Homeless on Sunday morning, and then the following Monday, we serve that food at the Coalition itself. All the details are on our website, but this is something that we're restarting. We do it once a month. So if this is something you're interested in, check out the website or ask me or a board member for that. Ignore the typo that I have. We have 3 special Shabbatot coming up at the end of the month. We're doing a Camp Shabbat, Sisterhood Installation, and Pride Shabbat. Sort of lots of different fun Shabbatot coming up. So all of those wonderful things happening inside our community and in our sanctuary as well. I think those are all the announcements that we have for now. So let's move into a reading this evening. This is based on the concept of a song that we're going to sing that comes from Psalms, which are very, very old. Psalms are thought to be over 3,000 years old. And so this says, "Sing a new song to Adonai." If only the psalmist knew what he was asking. I have music in my heart. Sometimes it's classical, sometimes it's folk, and sometimes it's that funky rock and roll. Does that count? I hope so, because I'm singing my heart out to you, O God, source of all music and of every new song. So let us sing together. Shir Chadash, page 13 if you're in the book.
Shiru Adonai Kol Haaretz, Shiru Adonai Shir Chadash. Again, Shiru Adonai Kol Haaretz, Shiru Sing unto God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto song, all the earth, a new song unto God. Shiru Adonai, kol haaretz. Shiru Adonai, shir chadash. I will sing unto God a new song.
Let's continue celebrating togetherness with Hine Mato, page 10 in the book.
Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad.
At this time, I'd like to bring up those who are going to help bring in Shabbat for us. Jonathan to come up for our Kiddush, and the Jackson family to come up for our candles. In case the name sounds familiar, my in-laws are in town this weekend for a little bit of a celebration.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav b'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We're just doing a little dance up here. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us up here tonight. There we go.
Wine symbolizes the power of people to be joyful together. We find grapes in nature, and we grow them in vineyards, and squeeze them into juice, and ferment the juice into wine. We find ourselves in families, in communities, in friendships, in partnerships, and part of the community. It is our creativity and our efforts to make our lives that much sweeter.
Oh, I so agree with that. And if there are any kids in our sanctuary that would like to come up for a bit of Kiddush, I encourage you and invite you to do that at this time. But, well, on my bima, I don't require anyone to do so. So.
Noi Eloheinu melech haolam, pri hagafen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinfilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom tefillah l'mikra'ei kodesh zecher litziat mitzrayim ki vanu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat amen l'chaim.
Chaya.
Go ahead and turn to someone, perhaps someone you didn't come here with, or if you were at home, text someone and let them know Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I didn't come with any of that. I'm so sorry. One of these days I'll go on a different path, but today is not that day. So everyone go ahead and look up there, look above Solus Lori's head as we expand our sanctuary beyond these walls, beyond our seats, and deep into our hearts as we wave to everybody who could not join us tonight. And I know there's a couple of people, they sent me a text or an email or something that said, gosh, Rabbi, if it's raining like it did last night, I am not coming. Right? And so I'm so grateful that we have this technology in case the weather is ever very frightful. And last night was very frightful. So I'm glad, and I hope that your possessions and your personhood are fine after that. So we have said hello to each other. We have said hello to Shabbat. So let us now continue. Page 20 in our books are up here on the screens with welcoming in our Sabbath partner, Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi likrat kolah p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kolah p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shemor v'zachor b'dibor echad yishmianu el ham-yuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad Hashem hu tiferet b'li tihila. Lecha Dodi likrat kolah p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kolah p'nei Shabbat lechu v'neocha imekor habaracha mirosh mikerem nisucha sof ma'aseh v'makshava tehila l'chadoti likrat kola P'nei Shabbat nekabela l'chadodi likrat kola P'nei Shabbat nekabela Hitoriri, hitoriri Kiva urehi kumbi Shabbat nekabela l'chadodi likrat kola P'nei Shabbat nekabela
Please rise and face the entrance.
Boi v'shalom ateret bala Gam b'simcha Utzola Toch emunei am segula Boi chala L'chadodi likrat kola P'nei Shabbat nekabela P'nei Shabbat nekabela.
Let us take our seats as we continue on 24 with Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boechem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzichem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Shekhinah, source of life and blessing, in this place of Shabbat holiness, may we offer each other the blessing of community, ritual, safety, and peace. Let us rejoice in what we know, what we are learning, and what we may teach each other. Let those of us who are shy find a voice. And those of us who feel separate know that here we all belong. Let us always remember that we are the ancestors of the future, and what we do now changes the world. On page 28, we continue with the Baruch Hu. You are invited to rise.
Lai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach. HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach. HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Feel free to join in this poem by Rabbi Lewis. Hama'ariv Arevim, God who brings evenings, you are the master of transitions, the artist of Ma'arivim, and we, your people, we are called Ivrim, those who pass from one place to the next, who travel to the edge, who seek you in the in-between. We and you forever becoming, rolling dusk into twilight and darkness into dawn. As you preside over time, the sun rises up and bows low. The moon stretches out and curls in. Our bodies wax and wane. Everything is on the move. Particles flip and twirl. Light floods in and fades away. You offer us sparks of holy time, soul, and space. When Shabbat comes in, stillness, we breathe. We are whole. We are here. Let us continue with Shema on 34.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam va'ed.
We take our seats as we continue with Ve'ahavta on 36.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru vasitem et kol mitzvotai vitem kedoshim lelohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher Hotzeiti Etchem Me'eretz Mitzrayim Liot Lachem Le'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Emet.
Feel free to join in. We are Israel, witness to God's covenant. We are Israel, forbidden to worship power. We are Israel, prophets of a vision for all. We are Israel, schooled in the suffering of the oppressed. We are Israel, trying to beat swords into plowshares. We are Israel, teaching sacred words from Torah. Hate evil and love what is good. Let justice flow as a mighty stream. We are Israel, proclaiming your truth as we did on the shores of the sea, which we continue with now, page 40, Mi Chamocha.
Yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 mi chamocha ba elim Adonai mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh norati hilot osei feleh norati hilot osei feleh Malchutecha ra'u v'hamnecha b'kei lifnei Moshe u'Miriam Ze'eli anu v'amru Ze'eli anu v'ameru Adonai yimloch le'olam ba'ed Adonai yimloch le'olam ba'ed Yai lai 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 Yai lai 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 Yai lai 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 Yai lai 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 yai lai 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 lai.
We continue with another Shabbat song. Just trying to combine that with Vishamru. This is Tauman's version, which has that sort of like, I don't know, that extra spice. An extra spice to it. Yep. Let's continue, page 44.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat L'dorotam Beritomam. Again. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat L'dorotam Beritomam Beni uvein b'nei Yisrael Odi le'olam Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat L'dorotam Beritomam Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat L'dorotam Beritomam Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat L'dorotam Beritomam Vishamru v'nei Yisrael את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם.
Let's take that spice, let's take that energy, let's take those hopes, and we continue with the Amidah, page 46. This is a standing prayer. If you so choose, you're invited to rise.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'nehem, L'ma'an Shemo B'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Bezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol atah Rav Lehoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechokel Chayim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayehim Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Micha Mocha Ba'al Geverot, Umido Melach, Melik Memit Umechayeh, Umatmiach Yeshua, B'ne'eman atah hachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Ratah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, ukdoshim b'chol yom yehalalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
We may take our seats. When you dig in the landscape of your own heart, you may find an artifact of your own past, something frightening or something beautiful that reveals your own ancient wisdom. When you dig in the landscape of the divine, you may find an artifact of your own future, something glorious or something holy that shines like a gemstone and blazes with hope, unexpected, powerful, unique, the discovery that only you can find. As we take now a moment to dig in our own landscapes. Yesterday, we did Torah study, as we do most Thursdays at noon. Again, you're welcome to join us anytime you like. We're on, like I said, we're on Zoom. But yesterday, we were talking about the center of Torah. And at that time, I didn't have the exact numbers, but I do now. So Leviticus 11:42 is the middle if you count by letters. There's over 300,000 letters, and it's a Vav, which makes sense, because that letter is everywhere in Torah. Leviticus 10:16 is in the middle of Torah, if you count by words, nearly 80,000 of those. Leviticus 13:33 is in the middle, if you count by verses, but that's only if you assume that there's 5888 verses. But they disagree on how many verses there are. So we're going to ignore that one. And then according to Rabbi Akiva, the middle of the Torah comes in this week's Parsha when it says, "You shall love your neighbor as yourself," Leviticus 19:18. And that verse epitomizes this Parsha. And this Parsha is named Kedoshim, meaning holiness. At the very beginning of the Parsha, we read, "Speak to the whole Israelite community and say to them, 'You shall be holy, for I, the eternal your God, am holy.'" These chapters and verses detail how we are not to act, that we are not meant to be like the Egyptians. We are not meant to be like the peoples we meet in our wandering, especially given that these groups are portrayed as slave masters or murderers at the worst, or at best, self-centered. And when creating a society for the Israelites, we learn what we don't want to be from others. We have the ability to grow and to learn. We're told, "Leave the corners of our fields for the poor and the stranger. We must pay a person on the day that they do the work. We shall not insult the deaf, or put a stumbling block before the blind. We must judge one another fairly and favorably, showing neither deference nor disregard based on the economic status of a person." And it says, "You shall rise before the aged and show deference to the old." All of these verses are telling us to take care of the vulnerable in our society. In the U.S., we are a very independent culture, a do-it-yourself mentality, and a ridiculous statement of pull yourself up by the bootstraps, which really just leaves you falling flat on your face. There are times when it might serve us well, but there are so many more times when we could learn from the Three Musketeers with their all for one and one for all statement. The core of Torah, particularly emphasized here in Parshat Kedoshim, instructs us to achieve holiness by actively caring for the vulnerable members of our society, a principle that challenges purely individualistic mentality and a call for communal responsibility. Judaism is a peoplehood of action, not merely of thought. Some of our commandments are about how we think, but the root of most of them is what we do. Holiness is no different. Holiness as active empathy, not passive avoidance. The command to not put a stumbling block before the blind can be taken literally as make sure there is no object in the way of someone who cannot see them. It can also be a statement of inclusivity. When we design our spaces, are they accommodating to all people with all mobility needs? We can offer resources such as putting words on a screen or finding a Braille version of a prayer. We can advocate for the needs of the othered. Additionally, this concept can be broadened to the systemic level. Think about the lack of accessibility, both physical and digital, for people with disabilities. complex bureaucratic systems that are hard for elderly or non-native speakers to navigate, economic policies that widen the gap between the rich and those who live paycheck to paycheck. Stumbling blocks can also be an interpersonal issue, such as the casual dismissal of someone else's experience because it's different than your own, or the perpetuation of a stereotype that limits opportunities, or the failure to speak up when we see an injustice which allows it to continue. In the example, "You shall rise before the aged and show deference to the old," is not about politeness. It's about recognizing wisdom, experience, continued contributions, and actively ensuring dignity and inclusion. It's about creating a culture where elders feel valued, not merely tolerated. It is one thing to leave the corners of your field out of a sense of duty. It's another to do so because you genuinely try to imagine what it feels like to be hungry and in need. How does truly internalizing as yourself change our perspective? It moves from the transactional act of, "I must pay the laborer on time," to a relational one. How would you feel if my hard day's work wasn't recognized and I couldn't provide for my family tonight? So we can ask ourselves, is our pursuit of holiness more about a checklist of don'ts or a heartfelt engagement with the needs of those around us? Such engagement can be found in any number of organizations around town. I'm sure you have your own list, but I wanted to highlight a couple of them tonight. There is one called the Hope Community Center in Apopka, and it's a service learning one dedicated to the empowerment of Central Florida's immigrant and working poor communities through education, advocacy, and spiritual growth. Then there's another one that has a similar name but a different mission called Hope Partnership, and they're in Kissimmee. And they provide a holistic continuum of care to end homelessness and poverty in our area. The Coalition for the Homeless, of which CRJ is one of their many, many partners, is a short-term residential shelter with a focus on housing and emergency services. And the final one that I'll share tonight is Zebra Youth, which empowers the LGBTQ youth to thrive in our community. So perhaps the statement, "You are holy, for I, the eternal, your God, am holy," is to cultivate that divine-like empathy, to see the inherent worth and shared humanity of every individual, just as God presumably does for us. This transforms a list of mitzvot from mere rules into pathways of profound human connection. So while we can count letters and words and verses to find a physical center of Torah, in Parshat Kedoshim, we illustrate Rabbi Akiva's wisdom, and it reveals the undeniable spiritual heart. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. And it is not an ancient maxim. It is vibrant. It is the beating core that is meant to answer the call, "You shall be holy." This path to holiness is paved with active empathy, with a conscious desire and decision to see the other as ourselves. So as we think about this Shabbat, let us carry that true center of Torah with us. May this call to cultivate divine-like empathy transform mitzvot from ancient rules to human connection. Let us strive to not just know the center, but to live from it, making our actions the truest measure of our holiness and our commitment to building a community where every individual is seen, valued, and loved. Ken Yehi Ratzon. May this be so. Part of being seen is recognizing when something about us is off and we rely on our community for help. Whether we are in need of physical, emotional, the weight of the world. For whatever reason, something feels off, or we are in need of a prayer of healing, whether for ourselves or for someone in our circle of concern, I invite you to say a name aloud at this time. For the names we said aloud and the ones we hold deep in our hearts, let us sing together on 253, Mishaberach L'cholim.
Mishaberach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Leimoteinu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach Imoteinu Mekor HaBracha Leavoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
May those in need of healing find it in a time that is close to us. On page 258, a prayer for our country. You're invited to join in. O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit.
Amen.
And a prayer for Israel. Avinu, you who are high above all nations, states, and peoples, Rock of Israel, the one who has saved us and preserved us in life, bless the state of Israel, first flowering of our redemption. Be her loving shield, a shelter of lasting peace. Guide her leaders and advisors by your light of truth. Instruct them with your good counsel. Strengthen the hands of those who build and protect our holy land. Deliver them from danger. Crown their efforts with success. Grant peace to the land, lasting joy to all who live there. Together we can say,
Amen.
Amen. On page 282, you are once more invited to rise for Aleinu L'Shabeach.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'teit gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kigoye haratzot, v'lo samanu kamishpachot adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, וגאור עלינו וכל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, כך כתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבת אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
We may take our seats briefly. In preparation for Kadisha Tome, I read this poem. When cherished ties are broken, the chain of love is shattered. Only trust and strength can lighten the heaviness of heart. At times, the pain of separation seems more than we can bear, but if we dwell too long on our loss, we embitter our hearts and harm ourselves and those about us. The psalmist said in his affliction that he learned the law of God, and in truth, grief is a great teacher. When it sends us back to serve and bless the living, we learn how to counsel and comfort those who, like ourselves, are bowed with sorrow. We learn when to keep silent in their presence and when a word will assure them of our love and concern. Thus, even when they are gone, the departed are with us, moving us to live as in their higher moments they themselves wish to live. We remember them now. They live in our hearts and are an abiding blessing. In our community, we are thinking about Kenneth Raymond Weiss and Judy Elson during their period of Shloshim. And upon their yurt site, those that have died at this season in years past. We are thinking about Eli Abramson, Dorothy Evelyn Basson, Ethel Bellow, Rose Bloom, Hugo and Edith Buxbaum, Benjamin Chait, Raymond Chanot, Raymond Davis, Sarah Denmark, Rita Dorff, Howard H. Elliskew, Angel Falgiatori, Marilyn Fidello, Hansi Foreman, Esther R.H. Friedman, Gary Goldstein, Spencer Carlin, Edith Katz, Mary Lifshitz, Harry Lubitz, Sidney Marum, Susan Michilchak, Martha Nagin, Arnie Okun, Jacqueline Pachtman, Max Rauschwarg, Julius Roche, Anne Sakharov, Bertha Fain Shermer, Sydney Schiffman, Fritzie Schwartz, Charlotte Stieglitz, Philip Stone, Sadie Trock, Robert Seth Walensky, Lee S. Wolf. I apologize for any mispronounced names. If the name of your loved one was read or you are in a period of mourning, I invite you to rise now. We as your congregation stand together. Kadisha Tome is found on 294. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah. Be'alma divra churute v'yom lich malchute. B'chayechon uvyomechon u'chayed d'chol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mivarach le'olam u'lomei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei d'kodusha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechamata da amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, huya aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, amen. Zichronam lebracha, may their memories bring you blessings. We may take our seats as we move into our closing song this evening. All right, the end of that piece was all about Oseh shalom. And so that's how we close tonight. Let there be lots of peace. And you don't need to sneak. You're good, right? Some people, you're good. I don't mean to call you out. I see it. I hear it. So take care of yourself. This will be like a 2-minute song. You're good, okay? So let's bring peace down, but leave the rain up.
Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Oseh shalom bimromav, uyaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'alcho yoshvei tevel v'yimru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, uyaseh shalom aleinu ve'alcho Yisrael. Ve'alcho yoshvei tevel v'yimru. Amen. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Oseh shalom bimromav, uyaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yimru. Amen.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.